as in they're made for people who don't typically play video games that much. They'll show something like a new Call of Duty, and even a GTA for the DS was announced. Chinatown Wars sucked ass, but other than that, it really seems like this was entirely focused on the non-gaming crowd. They talked a big game about appealing to both hardcore Nintendo fans and casual players, but this E3 only really seemed to appeal to the latter. Like, even though Animal Crossing is cool, nobody would ever call it a hardcore game. It's a game anyone, even casual gamers, can enjoy. So if you were looking for a new Mario and Zelda, all you really get is, oh yeah, they exist, and it's back to the bland stuff for the casual players. E3 was supposed to be this big event, something a ton of gamers watch so they can get excited for the newest games. Casual players probably aren't going to watch E3, so really, who is this appealing to other than investors? This is also where they announced the Wii Motion Plus, an add-on that improved the motion controls of the Wii Remote, which is kind of a neat announcement, but they also announced Wii Sports Resort alongside with it to show it off. This would be a really nice announcement all in all, if they didn't spend so long showing off the add-on in Wii Sports Resort, just piling onto that for the casual gamer crowd. Okay, so far, this is a very disappointing conference with nothing for the typical Nintendo fan, but hey, that game Miyamoto's working on, that alone can save it. That can make up for this entire conference. Show us what you got, Miyamoto.
Please welcome gamer legend Shigeru Miyamoto.
You failed me. This was Miyamoto's game he was working on. Wii Music, the casualist of casual games. You make music by shaking the Wii Remote and nunchuck, and you look like you have problems, which, if you're playing this, you probably do. This is the grand reveal of the show. This, not Mario, not Zelda, not Metroid or Pokemon or anything. This is the big game of the show. And what a glorious mess it is. This guy is having the time of his life. This is the rest of the conference. Miyamoto and a bunch of others playing off-tune middies of classic Nintendo songs, while the audience looks on in horror, realizing they have wasted their time being here. This is when a lot of Nintendo fans believed Nintendo had completely abandoned them for the casual market. I mean, they still said a new Mario and Zelda were in the works, but that really came off as them throwing them a bone while Grandpa has a heart attack while playing Boogie. Nintendo fans weren't alone in this feeling, however, because the fans of the other consoles were soon to join them.
It's inevitable. When the paradigm shifts, imitation is just around the corner.
2010 was an awful year for E3. A lot of companies had pretty bad presentations, and if the presentation was somewhat decent, there was something holding it back in some way. While Nintendo's E3 2008 did not impress many gamers, it did impress Sony and Microsoft, because their E3s for this year focused on their answers to the Wii, the PS Move, and the Kinect. Their conferences were now going to be heavily focused on these in some way, tapping into that casual market, to the ire of many of their fans. Now, Sony's conferences here wasn't really that bad, just kind of uneventful. There was a big focus on the PS Move in the first half, but they eventually moved away from it and showed some actual games. There's even an appearance by babyface Gabe Newell, so that's a rare treat.
So I'd really like to thank everyone at Sony for their gracious hospitality and for not repeatedly punching me in the face. If I seem a little nervous, it's because Kevin Butler was introduced to me backstage as the VP of sharpening things.
So this conference isn't that bad. Microsoft, however, is a different story. Now, the Kinect as a product is a neat novelty, but I am a gamer. I don't want to be the controller. I want to sit my fat American ass down and play some games on a couch or a chair with a controller in my hand. We don't need a whole conference dedicated to the Kinect, and well, this is exactly what we got here. Now, the first bit of this conference is actually pretty good. We got a bit of unique spotlights like Gears of War 3 and Halo Reach, and even the reveal of Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, which looks different to the final game, so some actually good stuff. But once the segment on Halo Reach is over, the conference takes a massive nosedive into the abyss. Only the first 30 minutes of this conference had actual worthwhile video games. The rest of it is dedicated entirely to the Kinect and its features, with some of the best natural acting you've ever seen in your life.
One thing we can do is watch stuff together. You see those topics at the bottom of your screen? Yeah. I can select one of them. And we can watch a video together.
Pulling up in his fancy German car.
This car was made in Guatemala.
Well, pardon us, Mr. Gucci loafers.
I bought these shoes from a hobo.
Well, la-dee-da, Mr. Park Avenue manicure.
Sorry, I believe in good grooming.
They go on about sports and all the quality of elections that Kinect brings to the Xbox, and then they start showing the games. The first game they show is Kinectimals, the pack-in title with the Kinect, and they bring out a little girl to play and showcase it.
Get off and bye. Bye. Come here. Come here. Come here. Good Skittles.
One thing people never talk about with this conference is the complete tonal whiplash this is set with the first few minutes of the conference. Yeah, I would like to remind you all what they were showing a few minutes before they brought this girl out to play with this cute virtual tiger.
Okay? Good. You're my good Skittles. Yes, you are. Ready? Turn around and play that. Skittles, that's enough. Please. Okay, Skittles. Look at Skittles.
Yeah, I don't think they thought this conference through enough. And yes, this is the rest of the conference. A bunch of people flailing their bodies around to show off the Kinect. As you can imagine, this is pure torture for anyone that's not a casual gamer. And even then, I think casual gamers would have shut this off by now. You can get basically everything of substance in the first 30 minutes, and you're not missing much here. Because it is legit the rest of the focus of the conference. The only thing of note after the first 30 minutes they revealed is the redesigned 360 model. And this is actually a good announcement because this model of the 360 won't often itself with hardware failures. So this entire era for people who just want to sit down and enjoy a game was pure torture. No, everything had to be motion controls. Play with imaginary tigers and pretend you're driving a car that isn't really there. It certainly doesn't get any better than this. This must have sold some people because the Kinect actually did do pretty well on the market. But how are things looking for it now? Yeah, I thought so. Now, I've been talking about individual conferences as a whole and how hard they completely flopped. But there have been some extremely bad moments and sometimes good and alright conferences. And I think some of these are at least worth mentioning in their own segment if they left that much of an impact. So here's a couple of one-off moments.
Sega Saturn is the newest and most indulgent taste temptation from Sega, delivering crystal clear digital video and rich, creamy 3D graphics.
The Sega Saturn was Sega's foray into the 5th generation, but they realized they had tough competition. The PS1 and N64 definitely had them beat in a number of ways, so they had to do some sort of publicity stunt in order to get the attention they needed. So they had the bright idea to shadow drop the Sega Saturn on the US market. At the end of their E3 conference, they said the Sega Saturn was out now. Go and get yours today. This was very ballsy and something no one could have ever think of doing, especially back in 1995. Now, people love the idea of shadow dropping, seeing a cool game and getting to play it that very day. It's why it's still a thing. But you can't shadow drop a whole game console like that. There was no preparation, no marketing, no nothing. You can't buy a game console that expensive with nothing to offer. Apparently, only a couple of retailers were even told about this, and the masses didn't even know the Sega Saturn existed until they saw it in stores. This is one of the many reasons why the Saturn didn't do too hot outside Japan. Sega was ahead of the curve in many ways, but sometimes that was for the worst. Not to mention that amazing reveal of the PS1 price just to dunk on Sega even further.
$2.99.
One of the most infamous E3 presenters was from Ubisoft's 2011 E3 conference, dubbed Mr. Caffeine, a fun, quirky presenter that is hip with the kids and does fun, zany things to fail at appealing to the audience and being funny.
Everyone do it with me. I said have a cup. Hey, want to come over and play my Wii? We should connect. And thanks to the Sony Move, here, hold my Joy Wand. Yes, I'm not afraid of a few dick jokes, thank you. Now, it all started with the Wii, and now with the Kinect and Move, you might say it's multiplying like rabbits. Wait a minute, rabbits. We at Ubisoft know something about rabbits, don't we? It's not the regular kind of rabbits. I'm talking about the loud, obnoxious, slightly deranged, poop on your toothpaste kind.
I could have made a whole segment about him, but really, he's just a tryhard. Jamie Kennedy was on stage for the Activision presentation the whole time, and like I said, comes off as a disinterested drunk. But Mr. Caffeine here is only on at designated times, and besides, there are some actual good games at this presentation that are thankfully not presented by him. Yeah, this is just a guy trying to be hip with the kids and failing. Hard. Not really enough for his own segment. While 2010 sucked for Microsoft at E3, Nintendo actually had a pretty good E3, for the most part. They showed off Donkey Kong Country Returns, Epic Mickey, Kirby's Epic Yarn. We do not speak its name. It was pretty good for the most part. But their flagship game was, of course, The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, showing off the Wii Motion Plus to its full potential. And oh god, they haven't got the motion controls down yet.
Here, I have to cut vertically.
Good chunk of the showcase was having technical issues with their flagship game, which was not a good look. This was supposed to be a huge game, and it wasn't working out for them. Thankfully, the final game wasn't actually like this, but man did it set the tone for Skyward Sword's mixed reception among fans. And on the topic of Nintendo, we have to talk about their 2015 digital presentation for E3. This wasn't a bad presentation. It did have a few good games, but man, did it feature gut punch after gut punch for fans of a bunch of long-running series. Star Fox Zero got announced and everyone was excited, till the game was later found out to be a complete mess to control. Mario Tennis Ultra Smash was revealed, the most content-barren Mario game ever made. Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival smashed any and all hope for a Wii U Animal Crossing game. And the biggest slap in the face of all, Metroid Prime Federation Force. There had not been a new Metroid game since... Ooh. And now the series was getting a spin-off on the 3DS, which pissed a lot of people off. 2015 and especially 2016 were considered very dry years for Nintendo since the Wii U died and the 3DS was showing its age. So this event didn't do them any favors either. Oh, and of course, we can't not talk about Microsoft getting absolutely blasted at E3 2013 after the reveal of the Xbox One and its horrible business practices. The amount of consumer distrust that had built up was monumental, and Sony was now ready to go in for the kill. And so they did.
This is how you share your games on PS4. Thanks.
This combined with the fact that PS4 was $100 cheaper, this was maliciously planned to dunk on Xbox in every which way. They couldn't recover from this. This was just a complete ass blasting at their practices. You technically can't get any more embarrassing for a company at E3 than this. Well, almost. Yeah, this was a little rapid round of all-around embarrassing E3 moments. And how do you get any more embarrassing than having an entire conference purely dedicated to kneecapping your console before it even comes out? Well, it would take something absolutely catastrophic to top that. But there does exist one more conference that takes the crown.
Hi.
You knew this was going to be here. Everyone who knows about E3 and all of its failures knew this was going to be here. This will go down as the most catastrophic E3 conference ever. Everything that could have went wrong. You could make an hour-long video on this conference alone and everything that fell apart. For starters, the vast majority of these games are either completely forgotten or hot garbage. With the exception of Metal Gear Rising, Castlevania Lords of Shadow, I don't think a single one of these games shown here is of quality or has any semblance of a following or any popularity whatsoever. Remember Never Dead? Remember 99 Nights 2? Remember Def Jam Rap Star? The game that didn't even have clearance from the rappers to have their songs in the game so they got super $9 million and the developer shut down? Sounds about right for this being the first game they show. You have to, dissect each and every presentation they show to really get an idea of how awkward things are here. But no, actually, you can just watch.
You can compete in the online leaderboards and battle with armies of the more than 1 million troops. 1 million troops. Wow. 1 million troops. Love you guys.
How about this lucha wrestling game where they bring out a bunch of newly naked lucha wrestlers to slap each other on stage while they're being weighed?
Hey, gentlemen. Hey, gentlemen. Save it for the ring. Save it for the ring. This is tomorrow. Hey. Save it for the ring. Save it for the ring. It's tomorrow, 1:45 p.m. All right, so I'll take it in the back.
That was a very poor choice of words to take to some half-naked luchadors. There's just something wrong with every single game reveal. There is always something off, and the crowd is almost always barely audible. They're as baffled as anyone else watching this from home. Sometimes the presenters very obviously have Japanese as their first language, and they're trying their hardest to speak to the audience.
We will dance with absolutely no controls. No longer tied down. Now you can move your body freely.
Guys, I think we found him. I think we found his brother from another mother.
Copy that.
So I see these ripples on screen. So that's where I put my hands and feet, right?
Yeah.
This conference is almost 2 hours long. 2 hours of this. Every game, every presenter feels like a damn fever dream.
Silent Hill has helped shape what horror games are meant to be, so we're borrowing influences from what the successfully executed in the past. The disturbing creatures, the mind-boggling and mind-bending psychology that transports players to an alternative nightmare world. In the process,
what is this guy's problem? Why is he so angry? He's giving him the fucking death stare for no reason. Oh my god. I feel like there's some backstory here I'm not getting. Screw Silent Hill. Give me a game about angry Colonel Shepard here. Do I need to tell you anymore why this conference is so notorious? Go watch any video or compilation on YouTube of it. It will be more entertaining than any movie you've seen in the past few years. This kind of stuff can only be accidentally created.
What's wrong with you? Hey, tell me, what are you doing? It's strictly confidential that we have a real model for this title. Put it back. So sorry. Please. Thank you.
This will never be topped. Nothing can ever top the absolute absurdity this conference is. You could write a book on everything that went wrong here. But you have to realize, because E3 is no more, we will never get anything like this ever again.
Like the X and Y and X and Y again. You'll be sucked.
These absurd moments and errors are what many remember E3 for. All people really wanted was the games, but those could have stood on their own. They could have been shown anywhere and people would have watched them there. But these errors, these cringe moments are what are mostly associated with E3. Now that everyone and their mother has these pre-recorded directs, that magic is now gone. You're not going to get someone fumbling over their words or doing something stupid on stage. Anytime they make a mistake on one of these, they can just shout, "Cut!" and they can do it again. And we'll never see the funny stuff. The most these pre-recorded presentations can be now is boring. And nobody likes to be bored. It's really only the games that matter now. But now if it's just farming games and nothing else, then that's what you're left with. Well, maybe I want to see some drummer flailing around like he has problems. You just gotta wade through some trash to see it. These are the moments that made E3, and well, now it looks like that is all going out the window. Maybe E3 will make a comeback someday, maybe not, but this is all we're left with now. And let's cherish them.
Extreme. Mega Thrash Battle. Not funny.
And besides, if Jeff Keighley keeps making live conferences, we can always have him to thank.
I'm not allowed to say anything about it. Yes, exactly. All right. Well, guys. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys. Really disappointed. They're disappointed.
God bless, like and subscribe, and good night. Cheers to Bill Clinton.
Hey, Matan. Real quick, I want to thank everybody and say that I think I want to nominate this award to my Reformed Orthodox Rabbi, Bill Clinton. Thank you, everybody.
What happened to State Rep Mark Catlin? He voted to strip away protections for a woman's right to choose. And he voted against pay increases for teachers, but voted to increase salaries for politicians like himself. State Rep Mark Catlin isn't who he used to be.
anyways. I don't give a... Ahora sí, ahora sí.
Solo hago esto para sentirme mejor. Soy glorioso en la batalla. Todavía. Vengan por mí y caigan ante el doctor. Osas tocar al doctor. Aún sin piernas te muestran ser tenaces. ¡Esos interminables golpetazos! Todos se arrodillarán ante el doctor. ¡Tráiganme sus armas! Oigo el lastima arrollando de los lobos. Deberíamos adiestrarlos, no matarlos. Estás tocando la muerte. Paga el precio por tu insolencia. ¡Munición máxima! No nos queda nada que no nos puedan quitar luego. ¿Cómo puede ser bueno para la salud algo que sabe tan mal? Soy el portador de la muerte. Los encontraré. pagan por el dolor. La elección de un soldado corriente. Otra vez, burlo a la muerte. ¿Dónde estás, Maxis? Vayan por el suelo, como las bestias que son. Juggernaut, mi favorito. Vengan, demonios, abracen la muerte. ¿Te atreves a echarme un sorpaso? Ay, es lo más vigorizante.
Esas. Sí, careta máximo. Careta máximo, máximo.
Llevan la marca. Están perdidos. Deben poner la mano sobre la piedra a hacer su destino. No creo que esto sea un sueño.
having to send it out to Apple's Compute Cloud server. We already had the leaked Russian M4 MacBook Pro, and in Geekbench AI, that scored over 50,000 points in terms of quantized score. That is a lot faster than the previous M3 series, so that's a nice upgrade as well. Now for number 9, we have up to 3 displays supported on the Mac Mini, even the base M4 model, and you could actually support 3 of Apple's Studio displays, which is actually kind of nuts. And then the M4 Pro version of the Mac Mini can support 3 of the 6K Pro Display XDRs. It is probably just so funny to see that tiny little Mac Mini and then 3 massive 32-inch displays. This is just so ironic and hilarious that Apple can make tech so small. And finally, for upgrade number 10, you can actually get up to 64 gigabytes of RAM on the M4 Pro Mac Mini, and that is pretty nuts actually, because it means you no longer have to buy the large and expensive Mac Studio to get this much RAM. Now, this is a very big deal for those people who want to keep it simple, they want to save money, and they want to have a nice portable machine instead of spending a ton of money on the Mac Studios like we have. So now with those 10 upgrades out of the way, should you upgrade to the new Mac Mini? Heck yes, you should. Upgrade. Even if you have the M2 model, especially the M1, just the redesign being so cool and small alone is worth it, let alone all the feature upgrades, the performance upgrades, having the ports on the front, which is so convenient, is such a nice upgrade. And in terms of which one you should buy, I personally think there are 2 specific models and configurations. First off, I think the base $600 model is great, except for the 256 gig storage. I think that's way too little. I think you need 512, so I would recommend the $800 model if you're trying to buy it for your family members or for yourself, for your office computer, for your kids, student work, whatever. $800 is a crazy good value. And then in terms of the M4 Pro model, I would say go all the way up to the $1,800 model with the full 14-core CPU. That configuration will get you 24 gigs of RAM, which I think is enough, and 1 terabyte of SSD, which I think is a great amount for a machine like that, especially for future proofing. $1,800, you can't beat it. That's still less expensive than the M3 Max Studio, and it's going to be a lot faster. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, subscribe above for our testing videos, because we're going to do a lot of videos and performance tests and everything, comparisons. Very excited for that, and definitely check out one of those 2 videos right there, including our iMac video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
It was years ago, the night they came.
Hey, how you doing? So before we start, I just want to say that really quick, you should know. Okay, just really quick. It's good for you to know that what I'm going to say in this video is not to deter you or convince you of ADHD medication. This is just my experience, of which started out really good, but then quickly declined into stinky, icky bad. So the last video, I figured out that I had ADHD because I had symptoms. Symptoms such as often has trouble holding attention on tasks, often does not seem to listen when spoken to directly, or is often easily distracted. You know, stuff like that. So what was the solution? Drug. In America, medication doesn't come cheap, so this wasn't like a just whatever decision. This sprouted from some real need. To the surprise of no one, ADHD brain isn't very productive. My thoughts either do not complete or just overlap with one another, and that's very annoying. It's a lot of chaos, and it can be really frustrating when I'm trying to focus. Hey guys, what is 2 plus 2? I don't know, probably 2? I think it could be 4. Who even made math? Yeah, it's probably just another 2. There's already 2's in there. Probably another
When will
two,
this
I
be
bet.
useful to know? Like,
What
when
am I
in
gonna
our
do
life,
with my life
when in our
anyway?
life will
Like,
this
what
be
will
in the
the
future?
future
When
hold?
universe
What is the
something
future
that I need
gonna
to
hold?
worry about?
Guys, what do you imagine it sounds like when we play 8 different trumpets randomly at the same time? Well, I wonder what we can find out. This happens when I'm talking to other people, and I could, like, forget their name. It happened in school and work, and I'm sure it's a big reason as to why I had to retake classes in high school. And honestly, I just want my hands on the wheel for once. And I was told that meds could be a way to achieve that. Have you guys gotten any work done at all? Where's the guy in charge here? Oh my god. There's tons of medications to choose from. You got Adderall, Vyvanse, Ritalin, Concerta, and many others. For my first medication, I used Adderall. We started out really low, about 5 milligrams of Adderall. So, what does Adderall feel like? It takes a little bit to kick in, but when it does, I gain this strange ability. Just the ability to be able to. So you see, a lot of my unmedicated days goes like this. I will think of a thing to do, task A, but then my brain is like, yo, wait, there's this other thing you should do first, because it's probably gonna take, like, no time at all. And then that happens a couple times, and then I start on the least important task, and get like halfway through it, take a break, forget about all of the other tasks, and then get distracted by anything else within my field of view, which, if I'm online, is infinity. Then the day is done, and I've made a laughably small amount of progress. When Adderall was introduced into my system, I was like, I should do task A. And then I did task A. The loop was gone. There was no sensation. It was just ability. So the meds were good for a while until they weren't. For good reason. But firstly, I'd like to thank you for willingly sitting down to listen to my sponsor, NordVPN. You're all comfortable? You want anything? Snacks, water? You good? Great. NordVPN is a virtual private network service that helps you protect yourself online. The internet is filled with infinite knowledge, but also people who want to track your data at every turn. Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Thank you, Nord. Tasks. Like one day, I took my Adderall, started to get to work, and then I realized that I was just vacuuming, doing dishes, and cleaning up other general messes around the house because I could physically fix that stuff. But if I needed to sit and think about things, it was really hard. See, the ability to do a thing was gained, but I never got the ability to focus. And that was the core of my problem. So out goes the Adderall. So I talked to a friend who also has ADHD about this problem. After some chatting, he mentioned he was taking Vyvanse, which is supposed to work differently than other meds for ADHD. It's a slower burn, and that can help in different ways for different people. Specifically for him, it helps him a lot with focus, which is what I wanted.
Yeah, Adderall is great, but also you're effectively taking meth.
Huh.
You might want to talk to your psych about Vyvanse if you're looking for something more mellow.
Considering my goals and my general aversion to meth, that seemed like a good idea. So I did bring up the idea of Vyvanse to my psych, and we decided to give it a go. Vyvanse felt way different than Adderall. When I took it, there was absolutely more focus. Like, way too much focus. So it comes around the first day of me trying out my new medication. It takes about an hour to kick in, so when I first tried it, nothing happened for a while, but then it hit. And when it did, I was watching a show about space flight, and it became very easy to follow along. Instead of consuming multiple forms of media at once, I was keenly aware and focused on this space documentary. But that focus, plus curiosity about spaceflight, led me into learning and researching the science of rocket flight and orbital mechanics. Cool, but that's not what I needed to do for the day. I was so enthralled with the information that by the time the medication wore off, the day was over and I did no work. I figured out the problem was I was able to work with incredible focus. I just needed to do the right task when the medication began its effects. Easy. I thought this was great. How foolish of me. If I'm not doing what I need to be doing while the meds are focusing me on the wrong thing, then it's not working. I would wake up, I'd take a pill, be distracted, then be locked into that thing I was distracted on for the whole day. So I had days that were crazy productive or days that were totally shot. It was all just a gamble. It felt like I was so close to getting rid of my distractibility, so I kept convincing myself that it was just a matter of getting my habits right. Then some weird stuff started to happen. One day I take my meds and I'm working on one of many things I'm not supposed to be working on, and then I started to feel out of breath. I immediately think it's COVID, so I go to do tests, talk to doctors, but COVID doesn't show up. Did you take a COVID test? Yeah. Is it COVID? No. So I'm not sure what this is. The feeling was like if I had just stopped jogging, but constantly. I had a feeling that it was the meds that were causing this problem. But I feel like I was so desperate to have the medications work that I was in denial that it was the meds that were causing the problem. So I just kept taking it. And then I did something really stupid. I was supposed to have a conversation with my psych in the future, and I could have just contacted them sooner and talked about these symptoms. But then I waited until I got really bad. I was having headaches. I could hardly sleep. One day I couldn't wait anymore. The symptoms got really bad, and I tried to contact him, but he was out of town and unreachable by this point. And so I did a really bad thing that you are never supposed to do. Do not do this ever. I stopped taking the meds. And I'm very thankful that I had no adverse reactions to this, but for me, it worked out. And after a couple of days of not taking the meds, I was fine. So that's my experience with ADHD medication. I'm off meds now, and I'm all good, but now I'm kind of back to square one. I think the moral of the... Whoa, God. I almost dropped my phone. I think the moral of the story here is do not be tunnel visioned on results like me. If you're having a bad experience with medication, talk to your medical professional. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to unsubscribe. Wait.
Hey, if your partner is being secretive with their phone, you need to do this now. Most
The Neo is a brand new style drug from DJI, which offers a bunch of intriguing features at a really low price point. In this video, I'm going to test out everything I can think of, and we're going to find out if this drone is a gimmick or a game changer. I'm going to go a bit against DJI's advice here and test out the Neo for the first time indoors. What I think I'm supposed to do is if I just hold down this button on the front, it should take off and do everything on its own. So let's see what happens. Okay, well that was easy. I'm gonna walk back here. Let's see if it follows me. And it's definitely following me. It is pretty noisy, but it's definitely quieter than the original Avata 1 was, which is good because that thing was really loud. It's doing a pretty good job. Let's see if I go down. Oh, that's cool. Then I'm gonna test out the landing. So in theory, what I can do now is just put my hand directly underneath it, and it should just land in my hand. Okay, that was really cool. This thing is gonna be a lot of fun.